It's listening to the language of my clients' goals, because I think that the art of listening has been lost over time.
Hey, Dr. Bill here. So we're going to have an exciting Meet the Mentor with Alison Clay-Duboff in a moment. Now, Alison has been doing real estate in the South Bay for over 14 years, and she kind of got into the real estate market in a very unique way, and we're going to start off with that because I just learned about it and it was kind of interesting. So, Alison, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
And why don't you share with them why you became a realtor?
Well, it's a profession that provides you with a certain amount of freedom and options. A large part of it is giving back, because I know that when I help someone sell their home or purchase a home, I'm helping to form the communities where these properties are, and the neighborhoods and the personalities that live there. So now, many years later, I can drive down a street and I know that my involvement has changed lives, bettered lives, and has built a community.
Yeah, and for those of you who have never owned property, let me explain to you. This is a very, very emotional period. You have no idea, especially when you're shopping around, you're looking at things, you finally settle in on something, you get your heart set on it, and then this doesn't happen and that doesn't, and it's like a lot of times people have already figured out what the house is going to look like and the changes. And then it doesn't happen. And it's heart-wrenching, and it's expensive, and it's time-consuming.
It is. It can be an emotional roller coaster even for someone who's bought and sold multiple properties, because emotions get heightened and people take their positions and their stances, but it's my job to bring calm and sanity and negotiation to every transaction.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. Why real estate?
Real estate. Well, back in 2000, I was living in Saudi Arabia, of all places. My husband and I and our 3 dogs and cat and other creatures, we were sent to Saudi. My husband worked for Avis Rent-A-Car.
What city?
Riyadh.
Riyadh.
Which is the strictest.
I've been there. Yes.
You have.
It's
wow.
not easy to get in as an American.
No, it's definitely a closed country. And so after 3 wonderful years of being an expat there, which was incredibly fun because my husband was British, my daughter Canadian, born in Canada, and I'm American, we got to enjoy that whole big, fantastic social life. But then in 2000, my husband died very suddenly, unexpectedly, of a heart attack.
Oh, sorry.
And yeah, it was a very tough time. And then what followed was even more exasperating, almost, not quite, but a challenge indeed, was I was penniless.
Wow.
No life insurance, nothing. There was really nothing. And I had to start from scratch.
So why real estate?
So real estate would allow me to help take care of my 9-year-old daughter and be able to work, build my own schedule, and have the support system that I needed. And I just flourished and it took off from there.
And I know it's a very, very competitive industry. So, if people said to me Dr. Bill, what makes your practice unique? I mean, I could list 5 things. What makes you as a realtor unique and kind of stand out amongst the crowd?
Well, it came down to one image, because I felt like I needed to shake up the real estate world a little bit. Everybody has their professional headshots and this and that, but I'm selling the beach because I'm in the South Bay. And so I came up with a photo series of me sitting on a surfboard with 2 young, handsome young men in their wetsuits. And I'm very professionally dressed because I'm selling the beach. And that image just kind of shook everything up. And
interesting.
That image has gone around the world, and it's a whole series.
So that was it.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Marketing, because eventually, what people realize is that I market your home to sell. And so I have to bring some creativity and a fresh breath of air to sell your home, to make it stand out amongst all the other homes.
Very interesting.
It's important.
So you've been there for 14 years, right?
About 12 and a half.
Okay, how many homes have you actually sold?
Oh my gosh, many. I couldn't
What
even
was the
count.
biggest challenge? I mean, I could look back over my 40-year career as a dentist, and I could think of 3 or 4 times when it's I didn't know I was going to be able to do it.
Right.
What was probably the one or two sales that you were most proud of because of all the obstacles you had to overcome to make it happen?
One very high profile family, we're talking extremely high profile, that was extremely challenging and had to be handled very delicately for season service all the way, but also a level of discretion. The other was dealing with some buyers in Shanghai who had never seen a property out here in the South Bay, and being able to bridge that gap of culture and experience and different points of view. So I would say, I guess the two is dealing with someone who has a very high level of privacy, and then someone who is very, very far away and has no idea about how things happen here in our market.
And how do you overcome those challenges?
Patience, learning, always having to better yourself.
What's the challenge today? Because, I mean, there are so many realtors. What's the challenge today that you overcome to get more business?
It's listening to the language of my clients' goals, because I think that the art of listening has been lost over time. And so when I sit with a new client, be it a seller, a buyer, or an investor, I don't talk, I listen. Because they have needs, they have goals, they have personalities, and all of those things need to be addressed. And it really is an art to listen.
So there's a lot of students that watch this.
Right.
And if somebody is sitting at home considering going into real estate as a profession, why don't you talk to them and tell them kind of words of the wise to them?
Words of the wise. It takes time. It takes dedication, just like any profession. It takes resources, and it takes being open to learning. And if you're willing to put in the hours, for the first 6 years of my career, I did not miss an open house Saturday or Sunday. That meant that I was sitting at an open house every single Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 for 6 years. People think, young people especially, that, oh gosh, real estate, you're gonna make so much money, it's so fantastic. It's a grind. It can be fun, it can be definitely challenging, but you gotta put in the work, and it will be reflected in the outcome.
If a young person watching this wants to go into real estate and they're in college now, are there any like courses or anything like that that you should take that would prepare you for a career in real estate? Or
the best thing that any young person who wants to get into real estate should do is to contact a mentor. It's all about learning from the ground up, seeing what someone does. And I often take on young mentors, so call me. I would love for you to...
What's the best way for them to reach you?
Instagram, Facebook, for all the youngsters out there, or just call me, 310-200-3037. And then come with me, sit with me, see what a day is like in the shoes of a realtor. And often when I've done this, I've learned so much from the young people that I'm mentoring. So it's a two-way street. But no, you come with me and you see what it's like on a daily basis. You can't learn that. I
totally agree. Okay, so going forward, where's your career going to go? Next 5 years?
It's going to keep expanding globally. But I am getting involved with a women's networking group called the W Source. I continue to do public speaking. I was the keynote speaker at the first RE/MAX France convention last year, and the year before I spoke in Italy. I love public speaking, and I think there's going to be a lot more of that in the future, and then maybe in the next 10 years I might write the story about what happened in Saudi Arabia.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming today.
You.
Thank you for coming as a mentor to LEAP.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, we love it. And if you want more information, just go to www.leapfoundation.com. And if you're 15 to 25 and you haven't been to LEAP, sign up. If you have been to LEAP, come again. Dr. Bill, over and out.